Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm Sarah, your host, and today we have a really exciting topic that I think many of you will love. We're going to talk about how to build your English brain.
That's right. Hi, everyone. I'm Bill, your co-host. And Sarah, I really like the way you said that build your English brain. It sounds a little bit mysterious, but it's actually one of the most powerful ideas when it comes to learning a new language.
Exactly. When we say English brain, we mean training your mind to think directly in English without always translating from your native language.
Yes, and once you can do that, your speaking becomes smoother, your listening gets easier, and your confidence really grows. It's like your brain switches to English mode.
That's such a great way to put it. And in this episode, we'll share some practical steps and examples that will help our listeners start building their own English brain, step by step.
So if you've ever felt stuck, or if you've ever wondered why English feels slow and difficult, stay with us. This episode might change the way you think about learning.
All right then, let's get started. So Bill, before we dive into the steps, let's warm up a little. When we say build your English brain, what exactly do we mean?
Good question. For me, building your English brain means that when you see or hear something, you process it directly in English instead of translating from your native language.
So for example, if I look at this cup of coffee, I should immediately think coffee not translate from my first language into English.
Exactly. And that's such a small but powerful shift. Because when you stop translating, you save time and your brain gets used to English as the default setting.
That makes sense. And I think a lot of learners can relate to that feeling when they first start. Everything goes through translation, and it feels slow.
Right. And then when they try to speak, they pause a lot, searching for words. But if they can train their brain to skip the translation step, speaking becomes much faster and more natural.
I like that. It's like changing the operating system of your mind. You move from native language mode to English mode.
Yes, exactly. And the good news is, anyone can build this English brain. It's not magic. It's about practice and habit.
Perfect. So now that we know what it means, let's talk about why it's so important to build an English brain. So Bill, we've explained what an English brain is, but why do learners really need to build one? Why is it so important?
Well, the short answer is speed and confidence. When you have an English brain, you can think, respond, and understand much faster. You don't have that extra translation delay in your head.
That's true. I've talked to learners who say, I know the words, but when I try to speak, everything feels so slow. And that's usually because they're still translating.
Exactly. Imagine you're in a conversation. Someone asks, "What did you do yesterday?" If you think in your native language first, then translate, then try to speak. It takes time, and by then, the moment is gone.
Yes, and sometimes you lose confidence because you're worried the other person will get impatient or not understand.
Right. But with an English brain, your answer comes out naturally. You just say, "Oh, I went to the park," or "I met my friend." No translation, no stress.
I also think listening gets easier with an English brain. When you're listening in English but your brain is trying to translate every word, you fall behind and miss half of the conversation.
Exactly. That's one of the biggest reasons learners struggle with fast English. Native speakers don't pause, they keep going. But if your brain is trained to understand directly in English, you can keep up.
That's such a powerful point. It's not just about speaking faster, it's also about listening better, understanding better, and actually enjoying the conversation.
Yes. And I'd say one more benefit is confidence. Once your brain works in English, you start to feel like someone who can live in English. That changes your whole attitude.
I love that. So, building your English brain isn't just a language skill, it's a mindset shift that makes English part of your daily life.
Exactly. And the best part is, there are clear steps anyone can follow to start building it.
Perfect. Let's walk our listeners through those steps one by one. Okay, let's start with step one, immersion. Bill, what does it mean to immerse your mind in English?
Immersion basically means surrounding yourself with English as much as possible in your daily life. Think of it like living in an English environment, even if you're not in an English-speaking country.
So, it's not only about studying grammar or vocabulary, right? It's more about creating an English atmosphere around you.
Exactly. For example, you can listen to English podcasts while commuting, watch YouTube videos, listen to English songs, or even change your phone settings to English. The goal is to train your brain to see and hear English naturally.
That's a great tip. And for beginners, it doesn't have to be huge. You can start small, maybe just 10 minutes a day of listening to something in English.
Yes, exactly. Even short, daily exposure makes a big difference. Imagine if you listen to 10 minutes every day, that's over an hour a week, and more than 50 hours in a year.
Wow, when you put it like that, it really adds up. And I think learners should choose things they actually enjoy. If you like cooking, watch English cooking videos. If you like sports, follow sports content in English.
That's a great point, because if it's enjoyable, you'll keep doing it. And the more you do it, the faster your brain adapts to English.
Here's a fun idea. When you're cooking at home, try saying the steps in English, like, now I cut the onion, now I boil the water. It's a simple way to immerse yourself in English while doing daily activities.
Yes, that's a fantastic habit. Immersion doesn't mean you need a classroom. It means finding English in your everyday life.
So step one is clear. Surround yourself with English every day, even in small ways. That's how you start training your brain.
Exactly. And once your brain gets used to hearing and seeing English all the time, the next step becomes easier. Learning to actually think in English.
Perfect transition. Let's dive into that. So, Bill, once learners start immersing themselves in English, the next challenge is how do they actually start thinking in English?
That's a big one. Most learners are used to translating in their head. But to build an English brain, you need to train yourself to form thoughts directly in English.
Right. But for someone who's new, that might sound a little difficult. Where should they start?
Start small. For example, when you're doing daily activities, describe them in English in your mind. If you're walking outside, you might think, the weather is nice, or I see a dog.
I love that. It's like talking to yourself inside your head in English. You don't need anyone else, it's just practice for your brain.
Exactly. Another good exercise is self-talk out loud. You can say simple things like, I'm making tea, I'm washing my hands, or I'm going to the store.
That's so practical. And I think the key is to keep it simple. You don't need to make long, complicated sentences, just short, natural thoughts.
Yes, because fluency grows from small steps. Even if you only practice 1 or 2 sentences a day, over time, your brain starts to prefer English.
Let's try a quick role play. I'll pretend I'm at home. So, I might say, I'm opening the window.
Nice. And I'll add, I'm drinking water.
Exactly. See, it's simple but powerful. That's how learners can build the habit.
And the best part is, you don't need extra time. You're already living your life, you just switch your inner voice to English.
That's such a great way to put it. So, step two is practice thinking in English every day, starting with short, simple sentences.
Yes, and once you do that, you'll notice your brain starts reaching for English words automatically. That's a sign your English brain is growing.
Perfect. Now let's talk about the next piece, building vocabulary naturally. Okay, step 3 is all about vocabulary. Bill, I think this is where many learners struggle. They know they need more words, but they're not sure how to remember them.
You're right. A lot of learners try to memorize long word lists, but that usually doesn't work. To build your English brain, you need to learn vocabulary naturally in context.
So instead of just memorizing, apple means this, or fast means this, you should see how the word is used in real sentences.
Exactly. For example, instead of just learning the word late, learn the phrase, I'm running late. That way, your brain remembers the word as part of a living sentence.
That's such a helpful tip, because when you're in a conversation, you don't think of single words, you think of expressions.
Right. And the more phrases you collect, the more natural your English brain becomes. It's like building blocks, you can use them right away without translation.
I remember one learner telling me, when I learn whole phrases, I can speak without thinking too much. That's exactly what we want, isn't it?
Yes, because phrases are ready to use. It saves mental energy. For example, that sounds great. I don't feel like it. Let's get started. These are natural English chunks.
So the strategy is don't just memorize single words, collect useful phrases that you hear often, and practice using them in daily life.
Exactly. That way, vocabulary sticks in your brain. And when you need it, it comes out naturally.
Perfect. Now that we've covered vocabulary, let's move to the next step, actually practicing conversations. All right, step 4 is practice conversations. Bill, why do you think conversations are so powerful for building an English brain?
Because conversations force your brain to work in real time. When you're talking with someone, you can't stop for 5 minutes to translate in your head. You have to listen, think, and respond quickly.
That's true. It's like a workout for your brain. Every conversation is practice for speed and fluency.
Exactly. And the best thing is, you don't need a classroom to practice. You can find a language partner, join an online speaking group, or even use speaking apps.
I'd also recommend shadowing practice. That's when you listen to a native speaker and try to repeat what they say immediately, almost like an echo.
Yes, shadowing is one of the fastest ways to train your brain, because you're copying the rhythm, the intonation, and the speed all at once.
Let's do a quick demo for our listeners. I'll say something and you repeat right after me. I'm learning English every day.
I'm learning English every day.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
See? Simple but powerful.
Yes, and if learners practice this daily, their brain starts to respond more automatically in English.
And that's the goal, training your brain to make English responses natural, not forced.
Exactly. So whether it's real conversations or shadowing practice, the key is consistent speaking. The more you do it, the stronger your English brain becomes.
Perfect. Now let's talk about something just as important, mindset and motivation. So Bill, before we wrap up, let's talk about mindset. Many learners get frustrated when progress feels slow. What advice would you give them?
First, I'd say it's completely normal. Building an English brain takes time, just like building a muscle. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be strong. You need daily practice and patience.
I love that comparison, and I think it's important to celebrate small progress. Even if you can make one new sentence in English today that you couldn't yesterday, that's a win.
Exactly. Learners often forget how far they've come. Every new word, every phrase, every moment of thinking in English, it all adds up.
And motivation grows when you notice those small victories. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency.
Yes, I'd say the mindset is, don't aim to be perfect, aim to be better than yesterday. If you keep going, your English brain will get stronger day by day.
That's such an encouraging message, and I think our listeners need to hear that. You don't have to rush, just keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Learning English is a journey, and mindset is what keeps you walking that path.
Beautifully said. Now, let's quickly summarize everything we covered today. All right, we've covered a lot today, so let's do a quick recap for our listeners.
Good idea. Step 1 was immerse your mind in English, surround yourself with English every day, through listening, watching, and even simple things like changing your phone language.
Step 2 was practice thinking in English, use self-talk. Describe your surroundings and start forming simple sentences directly in English without translation.
Then step 3 was build vocabulary. Naturally, don't just memorize word lists, but learn useful phrases in context, like I'm running late, or that sounds great.
Step 4 was practice conversations, find partners, join groups, or use shadowing to train your brain to respond in real time.
And finally, we talked about mindset and motivation. Remember that building your English brain takes time, patience, and consistency. Celebrate your small wins and focus on progress, not perfection.
So if you put these steps together, immersion, thinking in English, vocabulary and context, conversations, and mindset, you'll be well on your way to building a strong English brain.
Exactly. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about creating daily habits that make English a natural part of your life.
Beautiful. That's the big takeaway. Train your brain step by step, and soon English will feel natural. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. I hope you enjoyed our discussion on how to build your English brain and that you got some practical tips to start using right away.
Yes, remember, it's all about daily habits, thinking in English, practicing conversations, and staying motivated. Small steps every day lead to big results.
Don't forget to practice consistently and celebrate your progress. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss our future tips and lessons.
Absolutely. And we'd love to hear from you. Share your experiences and questions in the comments or on social media. Your journey inspires others, too.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Keep building that English brain.
Bye, everyone. Keep practicing, and remember, English can become a natural part